guys, again, welcome back to my channel. And as I said, meron tayo ulit na Aviation Career Talk series. And kung nagets nyo yung hint at kung fan talaga kayo, yes, ang ating guest for today is ang mastermind ng Sputnik Aviation, Sir David or Captain David. Hindi ko mabigkas yung kanyang last name, so Captain David na lang. So, ang Sputnik Aviation kasi is community ng mga gaming streaming about si aviation. So, sabay-sabay natin pakinggan at ma-inspire sa istorya ni Sir David. So, tara! Guys, again, here with us is the mastermind of Sputnik Aviation, Captain David. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Sean. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Captain David de Koenigswarter. I am an airline pilot, and I've been in the airline for about 4 years now. Flying is one of my dreams since I was a kid, and I went through a lot of hardships towards reaching the goal. And finally, I was able to achieve it. So now we started Sputnik Aviation to help aspirants na, yung mga gusto maging pilot din, to help them achieve their dreams, not just by inspiring them emotionally, pero syempre, pati yung technical aspect kasi kasama din yan sa pagpiloto. So now we're here.
So, sir, kamusta nung pinagkakabala natin ngayong pandemic?
Well, madami. Unfortunately, na COVID yung industry natin.
Yes po.
So, kasama din ako dun sa mga casualties ng COVID, yung mga pandemic, the effect on aviation. But instead of making mukmok, I decided to start Sputnik Aviation as a way to help aspirants not give up on the dream, but at the same time, keep myself and yung mga ibang piloto proficient. Kasi as responsible pilots, no matter how bad the situation may be, you always have to find a way to finish the mission. And the mission is definitely not finished yet. So, tuloy-tuloy tayo. And so I've been busy with Sputnik, developing the training programs, gathering the people together. And it's become a very vibrant community of learners and aspirants. So it's really nice to see actually that all these people gathered together to help promote aviation sabay-sabay. So yeah.
Yeah, sir. Napaka-amazing din kasi I've heard Sputnik lately lang din po, mga quarantine, ganyan. Then, unti-unti siyang nakita ko rin na lumaki din talaga yung mga likes and yung mga follows ng page niya, sir. So, congrats, sir, sa achievement.
Thank you, Sean.
Paano kayo napunta sa aviation, sir?
Ever since I was a kid, my dad, luckily for me, na medyo into aviation din siya. My dad was a foreigner, and he was quite old at the time, so he was alive during World War II. So, yung lolo ko pala and my lola were both private pilots in the war, World War II. They weren't flying yung mga fighter planes, pero syempre nagpa-fly sila ng mga private aircraft, nagma-medic sila. So for some reason, I just developed syempre, who's not interested in flying, diba? It's amazing eh. So ever since I was a kid, I just was so fascinated sa mga aeroplano. And it just came throughout my life. And unfortunately for me, at one point, yung parents ko didn't see it realistic na mag-flying ako. Why? Kasi, sorry for my words, bobo ako sa math. Bobo talaga ako sa math. As in, bagsak-bagsak ako nung high school. I think every semester nung high school ko, bagsak talaga ako sa math. So, the presumption is, kung piloto ka, dapat magaling ka mag-math, diba? Kasi puro math yan. Pero, I didn't let that stop me. Even if my mom especially was really saying na no matter what happens, I will never be allowed to become a pilot. That's one day, my dad got sick, and it just came to my realization that, life is short, and you really have to do what you want to do in this life. So, I sucked it up, and I went to my mom and said, look, Mom, hindi ko kayang bayaran tong flying school, and I really need your help to, if I can borrow. And luckily for me, my mom saw the sincerity, and I was lucky enough for her to help me fund it with a promissory note na nakasign that I have to pay her back every centavo once na nagkatrabaho ako. So the day na nakapasok ako sa airline, nagsimula na yung post-dated checks. So wala, ganun talaga. And the reason why is not because, it's not really because she wants the money back. It's It's the fact that it was a sacrifice by my family to pay for it, and she wanted to make sure na wholeheartedly, ito talaga yung gusto ko. And actually, I thank her for doing that because it made me realize how important this career is to me.
Pero matanong ko, sir, saan po ba kayo nakapag-start ng mga flight training niyo, sir?
I enrolled in a flying school sa Luzon. I won't mention kung sino yun. Pero nag-enroll ako and medyo disappointed ako sa... I took an entrance exam eh. So parang I wasn't happy with it kasi yung mga moderator, parang nagdodota sila habang nag-exam kami yung batch ko. So parang na-turn off ako. Sabi ko, this is something I really want. And alam ko nung high school ako, bagsak ako. So I really want to make sure I go to a school that, you know, is very professional. So I decided to withdraw my deposit there and I went to Airworks Aviation Academy in Cebu. Best decision I ever made. It's a really, really good school. And I was able to fly to almost every airport in Visayas and Mindanao. So, masaya talaga. The instructors are great. And the best part is, nag-training kami sa mismong Mactan runway. So, you have, you know, radar environment, you have the big jets, you have international jets, turboprops, and then, 172, 152, paikot-ikot ka dyan. So, syempre, the pressure it's very real. So, as the owner of Airworks, si Sir Vince, who's one of my very good friends, when you look for a flying school, not that I'm endorsing Airworks, but syempre, graduate ako dun. Compare it to learning how to drive. Sabihin natin, you're gonna learn how to drive in a private subdivision, di ba? Nung ka mag-aaral. Pero, ang first day ng work mo or first day ng driving mo sa EDSA, di ba? Ibang usapan. Di ba? It makes sense, di ba? So, ito naman sa Airworks, it's like nag-aaral ka na mag-drive sa EDSA, tapos doon ka na kaagad. So it was really a lot of pressure. Kasi syempre, yung mga jets, big jets nandyan. Pero I really, really am thankful for the really professional training there at Airworks, especially with radio and all that. So I'm from Manila, so I really went out of my way to go there and experience it. And it's one of the best decisions I ever made in my life.
So, bale, sir, important pala talaga na i-consider kung saan ka papasok. No? So, hindi lang basta pumasok sa flying school, accredited, ganun.
You have to think very carefully where you're going to study. Kasi I'll be honest with you guys, so for those of you watching, a lot of flying schools will say this and that. They'll say, you know, we have the best rates or we have a private runway, mga ganyan. But you have to think of the whole picture. Some people think also na they should go to a flying school that's near them kasi mas convenient. In a way, that's true. But you have to remember that when you become a pilot, hindi ka pwedeng pumili kung saan ka pupunta. Pag sinabi ng company mo, mag-base ka sa Kalibo, mag-base ka dito, or kung mag-work ka abroad, base ka sa Dubai, base ka sa Japan, you really have no choice. And I think it's probably the best way to start is to get used to that in flying school. Kaya nung una, hesitant ako to go to Cebu kasi parang layo, I have to fly and all that. And when you think about it, nung nakapasok na ako sa airline, parang, no, ginawa ko to ng flying school. So I was based in Kalibo for 6 months. I was based in Cebu for 3 months. It was okay. And it made work a lot easier. So when you guys consider a flying school, think of the whole thing. The price, the location, etc., etc. But remember that cheaper is not necessarily better. Nearer is not necessarily better. There's a lot of things that you have to consider. Think very carefully.
For the main topic natin sa video na ito or sa vlog na to, sir, can you now tell us or share us, sir, your aviation journey, your aviation story from the start up until na kung ano yung narating nyo ngayon, sir?
So yung aviation journey ko starts with a video game, Strike Commander 1996, flying an F-16. And from there, nag-evolve yan into Microsoft Flight Simulator 1998. And that took me all the way until now. And I still use it, as you know, sa Sputnik as a way of training myself and other people. I started with Airworks, Aviation, PPL, CPL, IR. And then I did my multi-engine at the same time as my CPL. So I was doing multi in Cebu. I was also doing multi in Luzon for a private company flying on the right seat lang. So I flew the 172 first, and then sa multi I flew the Piper Seneca 2 Baron 58 and Cessna 414 Alpha. So yun yung mga multi-engine experience ko. And then after that, I decided to take my Airbus type rating in Alpha Aviation. So I got my Airbus type rating towards the latter part of 2016. And luckily, hiring agad yung airline. So I was lucky to get a job with AirAsia, Philippines AirAsia, early 2017. And at AirAsia, I really flew a lot. Flew a lot there talaga. 800 to 900 hours a year. And it was really amazing flights. I enjoyed the short hauls kasi madaming takeoff and landing. And then I left AirAsia this year because I took a job with Cebu Pacific on the Airbus 330 naman. But unfortunately, nag-pause dahil nga sa COVID. So right now, we're just waiting for, Cebu Pac and the rest of the airlines to kind of bounce back. So in the meantime, I started Sputnik Aviation to keep myself current, and it developed into keeping others current and making dreams, hopefully, helping dreams come true. And I just started last week with Alpha Aviation. I'm taking the synthetic flight instructor course. So that's basically the course that will enable me and my batchmates to teach students on the Level D Airbus 320 simulator. So that's pretty much it for now.
Sir, yung mga naging flights nyo nung nasa AirAsia kayo, sir, ano yung mga common?
Sa AirAsia kasi halo-halo eh. You get the domestic, you get the regional, you get the red eye, you get the normal time, majority red eye. So I think my favorite flights are yung mga short haul talaga, yung mga Katiklan, Cebu. I enjoyed Iloilo a lot kasi meron kaming short ground time, so we get to go down and buy molo soup and JD's mga cookies. It's really fun. And with AirAsia kasi, they promote quick turnarounds. That's the business model of AirAsia. So it's really not too long of a stopover. So pag may stopover ka na, slightly longer than usual, makes it more fun eh. Para, yes, napaaga tayo, sige, bili tayo pagkain. And I really enjoyed the short haul flights. You do a lot, the takeoff and landing eh. Cruising is nice, but then sometimes it gets a little boring kasi you're just monitoring. Pero pag takeoff and landing, parang action agad eh. So it can get very exciting. And the 320 is a beautiful aircraft. So ayun, I enjoyed mostly those mga short flights.
So, kanina sir, di ba, nabanggit nyo na parang casualty din po kayo ng COVID. So, sir, how did this pandemic affected you?
Well, I choose kasi not to look at it as something negative. In fact, the day that I found out na postponed yung training ko sa Cebu Pacific, that's the day I kind of started Sputnik Aviation eh. It started within the same week, more or less. Syempre, I just had to think about it a little better. And I'm just trying to use my time wisely. I believe that every negative that happens in your life, it's only negative if you think about it negatively. If you transition it or turn it into something positive, it might become something you never imagined that you could do. In my case, I never thought that I'd be able to start something like this, and with such amazing people involved, I don't, most of the people in Sputnik I've never met ever in my life, aside from Discord or Facebook, and I feel like we've become such good friends. The community is so vibrant that everyone shares the same dream. So it's really amazing to see how when you put a bunch of passionate minds together, you get something beautiful. Now it's the downside of aviation, but instead of thinking of it negatively, why not translate it into something that can benefit not just myself, but hundreds, maybe thousands of other people.
For the last question, anong message natin, sir, para sa mga aspiring aviators, not only the pilots, but also the other professions and mga aspiring airmen natin, sir?
You know what? I just hope that one day everyone maybe tries to realize things the way I do. I'm not saying that what I think is the best. In my case, kasi it really helped me move from depression and anxiety towards something to look forward to. Again, everything, guys, is a matter of perception. If you think of something negatively, it might be negative for the rest of your life. But if you turn it into something that you can turn into positivity, turn it into something that can help others in the meantime, it might actually become your next life advocacy. But in my case, that's what's going on here. So for all of you aspiring pilots, cabin crew, mechanics, air traffic controllers, my advice simply is to invest a little more time now into your dreams. Again, it's all a matter of perception, and if you just convince yourself first that there is still hope, and I guarantee you there still is, you might become a much happier person. And aside from being happy, you'll become a much more proficient airman. So that's my advice.
Yun, words of wisdom ni Captain David. So again, sir, thank you again for your time. Thank you for letting me have this opportunity. And again, sir, kilala natin sa mga aspirant natin yung Sputnik Aviation.
Well, guys, thank you so much again. Please don't forget to check out Sputnik Aviation on Facebook. And of course, sa mga Sputnik na nanonood dito, you guys have to follow Sean on YouTube. I've been looking at his videos, galing talaga, and I'm really impressed with your editing and the positivity that comes out of your vlog. So please keep it up, bro. It's really good stuff, and I look forward to watching more videos. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So ayun guys, tapos na ulit ang ating Aviation Career Talk series for today. And I hope na-inspire kayo dahil ako na-inspire talaga sa story ni Sir David. And I hope na marami rin kayo nakapulot na ideas sa kanyang aviation journey. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video. And so hi sa ating mga future aviators. See you on my next vlog.